Hello my gorgeous artist friends. Today we are gonna paint this orchids in a pot. So one orchid plant in a pot. I've never done orchids before on my channel, and this one is a little bit more detailed than I usually do. So if you wanna paint along and see my process, let's dive right into the video. Hello friends. Today we are going to paint an orchid in a pot. I love orchids. I don't know about you guys. I'm from Singapore originally, and orchid is our national flower, okay? And I've always grown up to think about orchids being kind of like boring because, you know, in the tropics, they're everywhere. They're the cheapest flowers you can find when you are wanting to look for a bouquet. So I always took it for granted. I thought orchids were just boring, boring, boring. And then now that I'm living in Australia, how precious are these amazing orchids. I mean, they're just like Asia's, Southeast Asia, or at least a hot country's rose, isn't it? Because there's just so many varieties, and they're all just look at that. There's so much character. They're like a watercolor painting in itself. All right, so I have not painted an orchids before on my channel, really specifically, and I wanted to do one today. So this is the one we'll be painting. If you want to see the reference photo as paint along with me, it is a Patreon perk. I have it uploaded on my Patreon, and any tier you can go and check it out. Otherwise, just paint along with me or find this on Pinterest. It shouldn't be too hard to find. But if you want the convenience of just exactly finding that reference photo, you can find it on my Patreon. So let's begin. I am gonna use my usual trusty Meaden watercolor paper, 100% cotton cold press. Link in description below if you want to purchase this. I've got a 10% coupon as usual, and any item you buy on Meaden, it's a great watercolor paper. Can you hear that? One of my favorite sounds of this dry cotton watercolor paper. Okay, so this orchid painting is going to be very loose, as I usually do in my style, and you can use whatever brush you like. I am just going to use my 3/4 inch flat brush. Okay, it's a favorite brush that I often use, and trust me, it's actually much easier to get shapes, petal shapes from a flat brush than it is a round. A round might seem easy at first as a beginner because you think like it's the most versatile, but because it can go in any direction, sometimes you don't get as uniform a shape as you'd like to with a round. So trust me on this, a flat brush, try it out. If you don't have 3/4 inch, you can use the 1/2 inch. It'll just be a little bit smaller. All right, so I've got a mix of purple here already going, and it's really a mix of dioxazine purple with a bit of permanent rose and even a tad of burnt umber. All right, so just mix up a purple you like. You can use mauve if you have mauve. You want to make it more blue, you can. More pink, you can. Actually, I might drop in a bit more opera rose because I like my flowers to be more pinky than they are purple. Hey, pink is my favorite color. Okay, so for the first layer, I want it to be super light. So I'm trying to get a very watery mix here. Very diluted, tea-like consistency. So drop in plenty of water. Okay, so load your brush full of that paint. If it's a bit too drippy, it's too much drippy. So you can always just tap it onto a paper towel like this. But I don't mind my brush to be a bit drippy. I am the kind of painter which I like a drippy brush. I sometimes go in with way too much water, but it's fine. I just enjoy that consistency. So you see what I did there? My first one, I'm just making this petal, this left side. Okay, that's way too dark. I'm gonna wash off that pigment and just use water for the second side. So I'm just creating almost like a butterfly shape, which is the two sides of this, what do you call this? Orchids, that's right. Okay, so it doesn't have to be super perfect, okay? Keep it loose. And then I'm just going to draw the top bit, which is really that bit there. And then maybe just a little bit here and a little bit here. So just all the different parts of this orchid. Now this is the fun part, okay? It looks quite rubbish now if you think about it. It's like, what is going on? So I'm gonna go into my permanent rose, very thick consistency, and I've sprayed all of this down already, okay? So my paint's quite activated. And I'm gonna just drop in that into the middle here. Too pink maybe? All right, then you can just wash it off and grab a bit more of a purple. So if you prefer a purple, my reference photo actually shows more purple. You can dip that into the middle. I'm gonna join that with that. So what I love about orchids is already it is a watercolor painting. Okay, so it just got a bit too wet. But now turn the brush around and just pull out these lines from the middle to the edges of the petals, which will be these veins that you find in your orchids, okay? Cute. I'm gonna change my brush to a 1/2 inch flat because that was a little bit big. I apologize. If you went with me with the 3/4 size, maybe you want to change it up now, okay? I'm gonna keep going and make more of the other petals. So I like it super light. So joining up the two sides of the orchids, little one at the top and one at the bottom here. You can have that joined. Oh, I also forgot to mention there is a bit of yellow actually. So I'm going to drop a bit of yellow in the middle here. How gorgeous is that? It's like a stamen color. Okay, since I have the yellow on the brush, I'm just going to put that yellow here too so we don't waste it. And then I'm going to drop, once again, a bit of pink, permanent rose, and a bit of that purple down here. And have fun, you know, you want to try the other colors, go ahead. There's so many variety of orchids, some with just a huge stunning variety. I have this orchid book right here. Like I was actually wanting to use this, but I thought, you know, be lazy and go on Pinterest instead. But just check it out. I mean, if you have a thrift store nearby your house, just go and, you know, look around the gardening section. They have just some amazing reference books that you can use. So cute. All right, so I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna do the one up here. Really light. And this one, I'm just gonna have it slightly facing that direction. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. And you know what? I'm gonna keep going and do the other one because sometimes it's easier just to do a few of the underlayer, first layer first, rather than doing it one flower at a time. If you know me, I'm an impatient painter, so I do like my shortcuts, you know. I am not the most like, oh, let's do this slowly, let's take our time. No, just like, let's go in there, let's get it done. Okay, so, whoops, I accidentally used Opera Rose for that one. It's okay, a bit brighter than usual. So, if you notice that the spread is going way too much, just make sure there's less water on your brush, less pigment and water, okay? Because water tends to just force everything out and the bleeds all get a bit too cray. Okay, and then touching that yellow. Also, make sure when you go in with the yellow, you have enough space for it to be and not let it bleed too much, because once it bleeds, yellow and purple will get quite muddy. So fun, these lines. All right, so I'm gonna just put this bottom to be pink. So cute. All right, so these orchids don't look very natural because they're obviously very cultivated. Like they are sort of like bred to look this artificial and perfect. So my painting is going to reflect that a little bit, which is going to be an interesting result. I don't know what it's going to be like. Just going in there. So cute and so fun. You're almost like making tiny butterflies. That's right. Adorable. It's funny how lately I've been quite into creating flowers and flowers that are a bit exaggerated and almost unrealistic. You know, almost like protest to realism and to perfectionism. If you know what I mean? It's like, how ridiculous can I make, or exaggerated or silly can I make this flower look without it, you know, with it still looking like a flower? Don't know. I'm leaning into that direction lately, just for a laugh, and also just to make something interesting, because we all get just very bored. The same thing, isn't it? So this one is facing kind of like that direction. Okay, so I'm really liking how it is spreading out. It's quite cute. All right, I'm going to work on these little green buds. Okay, so mixing a bit of green gold. Just use any green you like. I just want to use a green gold mixing with whatever green I have left in my palette here from last time. And these buds are very easy to make. You just, sorry, that was a bit dark. I just want it to be lighter. Just smoosh your brush down. And just want to drop a bit of yellow in. And then there's one or two hiding behind here. And all this will be linked with a very dark stem. Okay, changing my brush to this one here. It's a size 12 size 10 Aqua Elite Princeton. So I'm grabbing sepia, which is a dark brown. I'm running out of sepia, which is very worrying because I have fallen in love with this color, but I realized I think I bought it. It's a Rembrandt sepia, maybe. And I had only a tiniest tube. And okay, never mind. Burnt umber mixed with Payne's Gray. You get sepia too, okay? There we go. Burnt umber, Payne's Gray, or black. Okay, you want a dark brown. Okay, so you don't want your stem in the middle. You want it slightly to the side, just like my reference photo, okay? So down, a very nice straight stem. So this is one of those orchid plants which you're really just looking at one. You're just really looking at one plant. But this plant it's connected to all the orchids. Okay. Connection, connected. And then there's actually one more sort of like stalk standing up there, which is... Okay, am I happy with it right now? No. It's very weird because it needs like a pot. So I have some blue that's here. You want to mix up a blue, you can do Prussian blue with a bit of indigo, mix up with a bit of that burnt umber stuff, and how am I going to do this pot? I haven't done a pot in a long time actually, so I'm just winging it at this point. So just create a little pot shape. And actually I wanted this to be actually more dark, so I'm just dropping in Payne's Grey there. Okay, and then I'm going to color it in, wash off all the pigment and just swipe some of that pigment over, leaving a bit of white space. And you can alter the shape of your pot. And I realize I've just gone really close to the bottom of the paper here, which is fine, which is fine. It is what it is. I'm gonna put a little surface because I've already done the pot. I'm just gonna bring up the horizon a bit, all right, so that it doesn't. I'm trying to rectify my mistake, basically. Okay, so getting all that dark color to just create some kind of like base. I'm just gonna fade that down so it looks natural and also like really just loose. Okay, and I think what's missing, hang on, I'm just gonna add a bit more pigment to this side so that it just looks like there's a shadow that's falling from the pot, and then we're gonna just drop a bit more shadow color on this side, a bit more 3D. Okay, now I'm gonna go and do the leaves, okay? I realize that without the leaves, this looks so weird. Coming back to my flat brush, because with a flat brush, the leaves are gonna be way easier, trust me. So just getting any green, and I'm just gonna pull out some of these from the corner, pull out an easy orchid leaf, and then using the corner of my brush to get another one going. Deepen that green with some indigo. Pulling out another one here. And you can just really do this organically. So I've got two dark leaves. I'm going to make a lighter one. So green gold again. Whoops, that one's a bit odd shape. Okay, maybe some brown, some burnt umber to let everything settle. Okay. How are we going? Okay, I'm going to make a recommendation to myself and work on, wait, let me just realize that I have two very oddly disconnected orchids there. All right, that looks much better. Okay, so I'm going to put one more here, all right? I feel like there's this weird empty spot. You know, it's kind of like, it's a nice little, what's going on? But I just feel like I just left a little bit empty right here. Okay. How shall I rectify this? Getting my 1/2 inch flat. I'm gonna do one facing that way. So it's gonna be almost behind this stem. So you see how I kind of went through it, but I'm not gonna be too afraid because I painted that stem quite a while ago and it's not being too crazily messed up. So just that 2 swipes, a little bit of that pink and a little bit of that purple. Turn the brush around, get some of that going. And I'm gonna just tap a little bit of water away to finally drop in a yellow. Okay, don't be afraid to go back in to add stuff. And one thing I really believe in painting or in life in general is you gotta aim for 70%. Sorry, what I'm doing here is I'm just darkening this purple since I have purple going on. Yeah, aim for 70%. If you aim for 100%, it's gonna be so much stress, okay? And take the risks. You learn from your mistakes. Don't be afraid to try something new, something crazy, something you've never done before. Yeah. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna go into my yellow, cadmium yellow, a bit of gamboge, whatever yellow you like, and just drop in that yellow again to all the center of these flowers that are, oh dear, that's still very wet. My gamboge is M. Graham. M. Graham is like honey binder, so it stays really wet, which is nice. It stays very easily activated. Beautiful. So letting that yellow just shine. Okay, what shall we do next? I'm gonna be a good girl and wait for the whole thing to dry and then come back. We're gonna come back and put some final details on it and call it a day. All right, so hang on. Okay, so this painting is dry enough now, I believe, for me to just go in to make some final little boo, like, you know, stuff that can just accentuate a little bit more. So I'm gonna grab my size 4 silverback velvet brush. This is one of my favorite brushes to do details, but use any small brushes you like. And actually I'll also be having my liner brush. This is a size 1 liner brush to just go, you know, into those petals once again with the veins. Okay, so I like the veining that's happening here, but I'm curious to see what it'll be like if I put more on. So this sense of curiosity, which is actually my topic of the month of September 2024. So if you're just watching this video when it comes out, it'll be September. And in my Patreon, we actually have a topic of the month. So I will present a theme or a topic of the month where we will talk about stuff like, you know, like this month will be curiosity. We have done topics like balance, like intuition, play. And when we meet live in one of the tiers, in my inner circle tier, we do meet live once a month. And we'll actually discuss this topic as a group. And we'll share how we feel about, you know, the topic that's brought up. So what our relationship with curiosity is like, play, taking risks, for example. So yeah, the topic of September is going to be curiosity, all right, which is so rich in itself because, like, in art, we need to be curious. We need to actually find out what happens when I mix this color with that. What happens if I use this brush? What happens if I try a thinner stroke, a thicker stroke? You know, without curiosity, we just get really repetitive and boring. We just follow the rules. We just follow what's been told to us. So we do need to have a sense of curiosity when we play, when we paint. And, you know, obviously we need a sense of curiosity about life too, right? You know, there's a reason why we go to different places. We enjoy that sense of discovery, of novel, of something new. curious to find out what new foods, new culture, new outfits, everything. Without curiosity, we're not humans, we're not creative. We might as well just be robots. Yeah, so I'm just going to keep going with this liner brush, and I just love how it's turned out. Like this one here, I actually really like it. So with the liner brush, depending on the brand you have, this one is Art Basics, and I think you probably can only find this in Australia as an Australian brand, but I think Princeton Snap has not a bad liner brush. You can decide which thickness works for you, but it's so easy to create long, thin lines. And you can go as fast or as slow as you like. And I think for the other smaller ones here, I'm just going a little bit quicker because you know me, impatience. And take your time or hurry up, whatever you like, you know. You can also use the side of the brush, so you don't have to just keep going down one way. You can experiment with side, with see the thicker side like that, as it creates a different mark. Yeah, so I really appreciate, and I'm so grateful for all my Patreons who have been supporting me since I started it this year. I love that we delve into topics relating to art, yet also relating to life. And I find that very rich and all-encompassing, because that's what I love. That's what I'm interested in. Not just about, you know, techniques and stuff that, how to learn how to paint and this flower, that flower, but just overall, the overall soft skills of painting. Okay, so I don't know if I've gone a bit too nuts with the lines. I need to back off a little bit right now and just stand back. I think I might have, okay? It's okay, it's okay. It always feels a bit too much when you first do it. I'm gonna put some lines on these buds, and I'm going in with this size 4 round actually. So using just a darker green. I don't like that one. I didn't like that mark, so I'm just gonna blend it all out. That's the thing about second layers. You can, if you don't like the mark, you can just blend it all out and it'll be kind of like a glaze. And you can't go wrong just adding some kind of textural layers to the leaves. You really can't. Okay, so with these bottom leaves, I'm going to create some strong shadows under 1 or 2 of them. And I think I need to go in with a slightly thicker brush, so I'm going to go back to this Aqua Elite size 10. All my Princeton brushes, I have a lot of Princeton brushes because I was teaching in-person workshops and I had to buy a whole bunch. I don't know, I just bought extra. So if you have obviously like the Heritage, you can use that instead. So I'm just lining the bottom of this leaf to create that, like the underside. And then this one too. There's no rule of leaf painting, like do you do it from in out or out in. There's absolutely no rules. So I can just blend that one out. So I wasn't too keen on that one. And just a bit of shadow here. Shadow there. Excellent. And then finally for this pot, I'm going to get more Payne's Gray. And I'm just going to add a bit more darker shadow in this underneath of the pot. And then just a bit of shadow here on this side too. Okay. Now, no, I'm not done with the flowers yet. I just wanted to like give that to breathe a little bit. Just gonna put a nice dark strong purple, which I'm mixing up with my Dioxazine, oh, that's way too strong. Okay, if you use dioxazine purple, better be careful, okay? It's super strong, so a little goes a long way. Don't worry, I'm just gonna mix a bit of permanent rose and opera rose into that. Now you see me double dipping and you're getting very worried that my pinks are getting purpley. It's really okay. It's really okay. It is not going to affect the really deep parts of the paint. It's just the surface. Okay, so with this dark pink, hopefully it's very strong pigmented. I'm just going to put, actually, sorry, I wanted more pink, more pink. Okay, yeah, more pink. I'm just gonna put a strong mark on every orchid as indicated in my reference photo. And it's just going to be a way for your eye to land onto something strong. Okay? And then if you want to, you don't have to, it depends on where you are, how your painting looks like. You can go in with a bit more yellow or gamboge into the yellow bits just to bring it back once again. All right. All right, so that's it. I find it a little bit, I don't know how I feel about it. I need to walk away and come back tomorrow, but so far I think I had a great time experimenting, being curious. I hope you enjoyed this very fun orchid in a pot painting. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed painting along and watching this video. If you're interested to go on a journey of curiosity with me, check out my Patreon. I've got links in the description below. And it's great. You know, it's a little community. We meet once a month live. We talk about the topic of the month. And I am very curious to find out what's going to be up this month in the discussions in the group. So if you're keen, want to learn more, check it out. And if not, please subscribe to this channel and keep watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.